Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. We've covered Intel a few times at this point. Just the other week we looked at how Intel was cutting back on staff, citing how in 2024 they cut over 18,000 jobs after a troubling quarterly earnings report. Now you might think this was the end of things with such a large amount of people laid off, but seemingly that is not the case, as we have more stories coming out of Intel, signifying and essentially pointing towards an even more challenging position for employees to be in. So, what's driving this? Well, it all starts from the new era that Intel is in. Bear in mind, the CEO Lip-Bu Tan's fight back begins. We have seen Intel's layoffs become back in the spotlight as the new CEO wants to essentially cut time wasting and make sweeping changes at the semiconductor giant. Chief amongst these are changes to job cuts in 2025 that could redefine the giant's workforce. With a strategy rooted in revitalizing manufacturing, accelerating AI innovation, and staging a fierce comeback against Nvidia. So his vision comes with a grim reminder: Intel's layoffs are a much needed sacrifice for survival in 2025. So like I say, the upcoming layoffs in 2025 go to build on last year's reduction in jobs. This move shrank the giant's headcount to almost 109,000. And of course with that, we see employee morale sort of change. So yeah, it's really interesting to see this, and again now we are looking at a situation where Intel has to act urgently. Look, they have issues to face as a business, and I think everybody knows this, right? So if we have a look, the semiconductor giant made a loss of 19 billion in 2024. This financial tailspin is its first since 1986, and this demands immediate and brutal action. So the good thing about Intel, and perhaps the more respectable thing than a lot of these brands, is pretty much straight up. We know why they're doing this, right? Some companies are making a killing right now, they're making a fortune, and they're still cutting back staff. Intel is not one of them. We're seeing Intel basically being in such a bad position, they're going to have to make some alterations. So, this brings us on to today's story. And it looks like we are seeing reports coming out about more brutal layoffs at Intel, with some people, or some early sources suggesting that we could be seeing 50% of the workforce being laid off. So again, this could be half of Intel's workforce, a bid to pull the company out of its downward spiral, and the spiral could even be worse than what some people imagined. Some reports saying that the firings will be done to save the company from a possible bankruptcy. So, you know, we can kind of see why it makes sense, and the sources that we have coming out about this have been coming out over the last month or so, especially the last couple of weeks. And the concern is how many people will be laid off from Intel. So, essentially, like I say, 50% layoffs. Yes, you read the number correctly. Lip-Bu is reportedly considering, now considering being the key word, a layoff of what amounts to half of Intel's workforce in a bid to pull the company out of its downward spiral. So yeah, this is really an essential thing, possibly for Intel. You know, it's all well and good talking about the efficiency of the business, and of course that is what they want to do. But if a company's going to go bankrupt anyway, or if the numbers are that bad, you can kind of see where they're coming from here, right? But the number, the amount, 50%, sounds like a bridge, or several, too far. Still, that may be more than the high water mark for the effect rather than an actual plan. We knew some layoffs were likely after Intel pulled out the phrase tough decisions, which we have heard all the time. We hear that all the time, don't we? So, again, going off of what we know right now, this is a consideration, this is a possibility, it's not off of the table, but is it likely? It's hard to say. It does look like though, we are going to see some layoffs at Intel, probably some substantial ones, as the business tries to fight back the difficult times they find themselves in. Let me know what you think to this in the comments, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. Again, if you liked it, please do make sure to give us a like and subscribe. And I hope I'll see you again soon. Goodbye for now. See you later.